Senator Grassley to introduce our nominee.
Thank you, Senator Stabenow. Good morning to all my colleagues, and welcome and congratulations to our nominee. It's quite an honor to introduce a fellow Iowan, Thomas J. Vilsack, former two-term governor of Iowa and former Secretary of Agriculture for 8 years in the Obama administration, well known to everybody on this committee. I have a long relationship with Secretary Vilsack. I can't think of a single quarrel that I've had with Governor Vilsack. I know that he knows agriculture very well. He knows the importance of maintaining the institution of the family farm. We have 88,000 of them in Iowa. And he knows that the family farm institution is the foundation of success for American agriculture. And he knows how to faithfully execute the laws at the Department of Agriculture. 8 years of previous actions doing just that. Secretary Vilsack became mayor of Mount Pleasant, Iowa, and at a time that our nation was recovering from maybe the second worst agriculture depression we've had, caused by the farm credit crisis of the 1980s. Much like in those 1980s agriculture depression, the nation is continuing to recover from the impact of the coronavirus and the economic impact that that has. We've seen higher rates of food insecurity, continued food supply chain disruptions, and family farms struggling to balance their books. Should he be confirmed, and I think he will, the experience from the 1980s farm crisis will serve him well at this time of another family farms being under duress. I remember my first discussion with then-to-be Secretary of Agriculture Vilsack in 2009. I brought up with him my work of the involvement in the Pigsford operations. That was to get civil rights and equal rights for black farmers of America. And at the time he was going into office, there was still some carryover that was not being done in the right way by the people who had won their civil rights through the Pigsford cases. And he very definitely worked hard to see that those people got their rights delivered to them. And it was one of my requests of him at that time, because I was involved in the 1990s in those getting justice for those farmers. Secretary Vilsack also has a very strong history of promoting agriculture products both here and abroad. And as a governor, Secretary Vilsack expanded opportunities for green energy, including biofuels, so very, very important for the 43,000 jobs in Iowa. And as secretary, he made investments from the Commodity Credit Corporation to increase the amount of fueling pumps that carry E15 and E85 of ethanol. If confirmed, I'm looking to him to be a voice of reason within the administration on the future of biofuels, as he was in the 8 years that he was a member of the Obama cabinet. Finally, as governor, secretary, and most recently as CEO of the U.S. Dairy Export Council, he knows well U.S. agriculture is dependent upon access to our foreign markets. As former chairman of the Finance Committee, I'm committed to taking down barriers that limit this access and give U.S. agriculture a level playing field. and any U.S. Secretary of Agriculture plays a very important role in that. And Secretary Vilsack, in those 8 years, did that well too. I'm very encouraged by the success of China Phase 1 agreement, and I'm glad that the USMCA helped achieve historic gains for agriculture. This work is reflected in the fact that corn and soybeans are highest they've been since 1913. By the way, Secretary Vilsack, in his position as CEO of that U.S. Dairy Export Council, had a news conference with me in Des Moines, Iowa, on the necessity of getting the USMCA passed. So even as a private citizen, he was working very strongly for export of our products. I'm looking forward to working with Secretary Vilsack to increase foreign market access so that our high-quality crops and livestock can be sold across the world. I often say that only 2% of the Americans that farm provide for the other 98% of the Americans, and they do it without a lot of appreciation. If confirmed, I know that Secretary Vilsack will continue to work for the family farmer and spotlight their contributions to agriculture and society. As an Iowan, that's part of his nature, just naturally, going way back to his being a lawyer in the small county seat town of Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Please know that you have an open door to my office, Secretary Vilsack, if you or your staff need a helping hand in any of the missions that confront you, and particularly those that confront all Americans because of the coronavirus. I urge all of my colleagues to favorably report your nomination out of committee as soon as possible. It's necessary to get your confirmation through the floor of the Senate very quickly as well. Congratulations, Senator Vilsack, or Secretary Vilsack.